Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be showing you how you completely automate the process of taking notes during your meetings. I'm sure you are well aware of the struggle it is of having to join a meeting and having to take your focus off the important stuff that is happening on screen and having to look down your notepad and take notes. A lot of this usually means that you'll have to go back and rewatch those recordings or reread over the transcripts. And according to a Harvard study, this usually costs a person's time, usually 15-20% of their entire workload. So this often leads to missing deadlines, causing delays, and costing the business huge amounts of money. The other thing to consider is the errors. When you're working with different applications, when you're constantly inputting data manually between different third-party applications, whether you're using Outlook, Zoom, Google Meet, and you're inputting data into Google Sheets, there is usually a very high likelihood that you're going to make mistakes. There's also another fact to consider, as when you are in very long meetings, your brain loses focus, you get tired, and that usually leads to lower quality work. So, without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and run this workflow so you can see what it looks like. So, what is happening exactly? Well, whenever you are having a meeting, there is a third-party application that I have linked to here called Fireflies. It joins the meeting, waits till it's done, gets the audio recording of it, and then sends that to our workflow. What does that look like? Well, if I come back to here, I just have a new meeting here, a new page that summarizes all of the stuff that happened during the meeting into nice fields like meeting agenda, meeting summary, sentiment, and key decisions. So let me break down on how this workflow actually works. So first, what you want to do is you want to create a Fireflies account. This links directly to meeting softwares like Teams, Google Meet, Zoom. You can have it linked to multiple at once if you wish, and it waits till your meeting is finished, grabs the audio recording of it, transcribes it into text, and then sends it over to our workflow via a webhook. So first, what do you need to do? Well, first you need to set up your Fireflies account and link it to your softwares. Now, here's where we'll take it. First you need to do is go to settings, go to developer settings, and you need to input a webhook. Come over to your workflow. You want to grab the production URL, copy it, come back here, paste it in here. Make sure this transcription completed is ticked on, as this is what it will cause to send over the recording once it is done. And you want to click save. The only other thing you will need now is your API key. So copy it as you will need it in the next node. Now let me just break down what exactly is happening in this webhook. Most of these you can ignore. The only thing you actually really need is your meeting ID. So what you want to do then is you want to get an HTTP request node. Now this is making an API call to the Fireflies endpoint. Now you need to specify certain things first. You need your headers. You need an authentication or your authorization. So put this as your header name. Next, for the value, put in bearer, space, and then the API key that we just copied from Fireflies. From this point onward, you can close your Fireflies as you will not need it anymore. Next, you need your query parameters. And this is just basically the information that we would like to get from Fireflies. You can basically just copy this exact query as you will not need anything more than this. And the only thing you need to input in here is the transcript ID, which is the same as the meeting ID we got from our webhook. Copy that in, paste it in here, and you can see as we just ran it, it output a bunch of different fields over here, mainly text, speaker name, end time, and start time. We will go over this in a second. So basically what is happening here is it is grabbing all the text that was said in this video, and if you are familiar with YouTube transcripts, it separates the text based on the timestamp of that video. Now you can see that this is kind of locked behind an array. As you can see, there's 35 different occasions, but we need to get access to whatever is in here. To do that, we go over to the split out node in n8n, copy the sentences, put it into here, so that way we can access each individual JSON field. Now, we don't need all of this data in here. We don't need the time. We don't need the speaker name. Most of that is useless to us. We just want the raw text that was said in that video. So we just want to aggregate all of that from 35 individual items into one single output. So we just grab the raw text here, paste it into here, and this is our output. Now the other thing I'm doing over here is I'm just extracting the time of the meeting to the nearest minute. Now this is the most important part of the workflow, which is the LLM. This is basically going to take in all of the text that we got from our transcript and output the following meeting agenda, meeting summary, sentiment, and key decisions. We'll go over that in a second. But first, you need to know how to prompt your LLM. First, I always like to start with a system prompt, and this is how to tell the LLM how to identify. Next, you need your user prompt. This is where you're going to give it your instructions. Now, you can pause the video, take a quick look in this if you need to. Basically, what I'm saying is, based on the transcript provided, generate the following structured output. And these are the key outputs I want from the meeting: the agenda, the summary, the sentiment, the key decisions. Now I'm just basically instructing it on how to output that data. I want it to output in JSON so that way we can map those fields out later into our Notion. And then over here I'm giving it some rules so that way it puts it out in a structured output but doesn't break the workflow. So now that we have properly instructed our LLM, let's go back to the last output node, which is our Notion. This is basically what's going to take in all of that information and then send it over to our Notion page. So first what you need to do is you need to get the page ID. If you don't know how to do that, I made a video on how to update pages in in Notion. Check that out if you need to figure out how to do that. So what you're going to want to do over here is go to Notion, make sure you have page resource selected, click on create page, paste in your page ID. Now you need to give your page a title. So I'm just going to go ahead with this format of meeting and then date of the meeting. Then I'm going to give a bunch of headers, so basically just formatting all of the text that we receive from our LLM. The first one I'm just going to give is the meeting duration, which we got from our set fields node a couple nodes back. Then I'm going to copy in other headers such as the meeting agenda. Then I'm going to copy all of this that we got from the LLM. So first the meeting agenda, then the meeting summary, and rinse and repeat for the other two fields over here. This is the last step, as when I click test step, for example, you will see that it will create a new page within this page. That way, everything is neatly organized. You can just click on here, and as you can see, there is a nice formatted output of the summary, what happened in that meeting, the agenda, the meeting summary, sentiment, and key decisions. Now you might be thinking this is a little bit short. However, this was just a 1-minute recording. You can be sure with longer recordings that there will definitely be a lot more output from here. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments or if you have any video suggestions, and I will see you in the next one.